Hello everyone, welcome to a new lesson for grade 10, the probability of simple events. Before we go to the discussions, let's have first our objective and essential question. Students will be able to find the probability of simple event, and that our question, how do I find the probability of a simple event? Let us take also some of the vocabulary that we will be encountering here. First is outcome, one possible result of a probability. We also have sample space, the list of possible outcomes for a probability event, and the simple event, a specific outcome or type of outcome. What is a probability? Probability is the chance that some event will happen. It is the ratio of the number of ways a certain event can occur to the number of possible outcomes. It can be computed using this equation that the probability of an event is equal to the number of favorable outcomes over number of possible outcomes. And we have here some examples of objects or entities that they use probability, like the dice, the spinners, the coins, deck of cards, the numbers, even and odds, and even the letters in the alphabet, and so on. Probability is usually expressed in percentage like 0%, 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. It is also expressed in fraction and in decimal. So for example, here in the table, we have 0. That means an event is impossible to happen. And if, for example, the probability is 1/4 or 0.25, it says that it's not very likely to happen. Okay. And if it's a 1/2 or 0.5, for example, the probability, then it's equally likely to happen. Okay. It may not or it may happen. Okay. And then for example, it's 3/4 or 0.75 is the probability, then it's somewhat likely to happen. And if the probability is 1, then it is certain. It is 100% chance. It has 100% chance to happen. Let us take an example here. Rolling a die. Okay, what is the probability of rolling a 4? Okay, a 4 in that die. In our way of solving it, the probability of that event is equal to the number of favorable outcomes over the possible outcomes. And so in the given problem, we have to rule wherein it should be a 4, right? It should be a 4. The chance is 1 over the 6 because there's only one 4 in a die over the 6 choices or possibilities or outcomes. Now the probability of ruling a 4 is 1 out of 6 possibilities. Here is example number 2. Still ruling a die. What is the probability of ruling an even number? Okay, an even number. You know, we have our probability equal to favorable outcomes over possible number of outcomes or possible outcomes. And that you know that there are only 3 even numbers possible outcomes. Now 3 over the 6. Okay, it's a favorable outcomes. There are 3. Then the possible outcomes 6. That's the total outcomes. So you have 1/2 as its probability. The probability of ruling an even number is 3 out of 6 or 0.5. That means 50%. Let us take this example number 3. What is the probability of spinning green in that spinner that you see there in the monitor? Well, using our formula, and looking into the figure, there is only one green color, and there are 4 possible outcomes in that spinning wheel. All right, so you have 1 over the 4, meaning 1/4. The probability of spinning green is 1 out of 4 or 0.25 or 25%. So in example number 4, flipping a coin. If we flip a coin, here's a problem here. What is the probability of flipping a tail? Okay. Our formula is favorable outcomes over possible outcomes, and in a coin there are only two possible outcomes, the head and the tail. Therefore, it's a 1 over 2. The probability that it would be a tail is 1 out of 2 or zero point 0.5, or shall we say 50% probability. In a deck of cards, what is the probability of picking a heart? Okay, what is the probability of picking a heart? How many hearts are there in a deck of cards? In a deck of cards, there are 13, right? There are 13. So favorable outcomes is 13, possible outcomes 52, because there are 52 cards in a deck of cards, right? And your 13 over 52 is just the same as 1/4. Therefore, the probability of picking a heart is 1 out of 4 or 0.25 or 25%. Now, what is the probability of picking a non-heart? Okay, the cards that are non-heart, these are the clubs, spades, and diamonds. If we are going to count, there are 13 in each of the kind of card, 13 diamonds, 13 spades, and 13 clubs. That's equal to 39. That's our favorable outcomes, the non-hearts. And so the possible outcomes is 52, the total number of cards. So therefore, it's 3/4. And that you can say that the probability of picking a heart or a non-heart is 3 out of 4 or 0.75 or 75%. So the key concepts here are the following: that probability is the chance that some event will happen, and that it is the ratio of the number of ways in a certain event can occur to the total number of possible outcomes, as you can see in your way of solving it. Let us do this guided practice. I will do number 1 and number 2, and you'll be the one to do number 3 and number 4. Calculate the probability of each independent event given the figure in the bottom. Yeah, you have there the spinning wheel, but it's colored black and white. Number 1, what is the probability that it would be a black? Okay, the probability, you have 4 blacks out of 8. No? So it's a 4 over 8. Therefore, you're going to reduce that. That's 1/2, or in percentage, that's 50%. All right. And for number 2, what is the probability that it would be a 1? There's only 1 here. No, there's only 1. So it's 1 over 8. You'll be the one to do number 3 and number 4. And if you wish to answer that, you can do that in the comment section. We have another guided practice here. Calculate the probability of each independent event here. All right. What is the probability that it would be a red? And there are 2 reds and there are 2 yellows. So therefore, it's a 2 over 4, right? In other words, it's a 50% probability. Now, what is the probability that it would be a 2 if you spin it? So it's a 1 over 4 in fraction form, or 25%. You'll do number 3 and number 4, and you may comment your answer in the comment section. So here's an example. Might be you will encounter a similar problem with this one. So you'll be able to solve the same way we solve it. So for example, Best Buy is having an iPod giveaway. Then they put all the iPod shuffles in a bag. So it's inside the bag. Customers may choose an iPod without looking at the color inside the bag are 4 orange, 5 blue, 6 green, and 5 pink iPods. If one chooses one iPod at random, what is the probability that he or she will choose a green iPod? So it's a green iPod. How do you solve that? You need to know how many iPods were there inside the bag. So you are to count all, you are to add all, the number of iPods given in the problem. So you have 4, 5, 6, 5. That means there are 20 iPods inside the bag. And you are told to choose one without looking at it and without choosing a color, specific color. And then the problem says, what if one chooses one iPad at random? What is the probability that he or she can choose a green iPad? Since there are 6 green iPads over the 20, that's 6 over 20 probability, or 3 over 10, then you're going to get a percentage of that. That's the probability of getting a green iPad. That's 30% or a little bit more, 30% chance. Okay, but you need to be specific. You're just going to divide 3 by 10 and then times 100%, and you can get the probability. So here's a question that is designed for you. A computer company manufactures 3,000 computers each day. An average of 100 of these computers are returned with defects. What is the probability that the computer you purchase from this company or from that company is not defective? So you answer this problem. You may write your answer in the comment section um, for me to check. Also, I'll be glad to see your answers in the comment section. What is your answer for this problem? What is the probability then? And I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.